Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joelle and this is Joelle Makes Food. So today I'm making Pico de Gallo. I really love this recipe because it adds really a pop of flavor to anything I pair it with. It's also really easy, like I'm talking 5 ingredient easy. So Pico de Gallo is a great addition to any meal. It's very versatile and it really adds a necessary pop of flavor. It's also really well balanced, so you have sweet, sour, a bit of spicy, and salty. So all around, you're hitting a lot of those different flavor notes. So let's look at some of the ingredients we're working with today. So first you have your white onion. So this is going to be milder and sweeter than the average onion, which I think really blends it in and works well with all the additional flavors. Then you have your jalapenos. Jalapenos give you a little bit of heat as well as flavor. If you don't like spicy or you can't tolerate spicy, I'll show you how to de-seed and de-rib the jalapenos, so that way you're getting none of the spice and all the flavor. We have our cilantro. It's a great anti-inflammatory and it also may lower blood sugar. This is cool because if you're on a low-carb keto diet, you're always looking at ways to keep that blood sugar low. Then you also have your lime. So lime's always going to be a smash hit. The citrus is always really nice and tangy. I find it pulls on the other flavors well as well. It's an antioxidant, and I just love lime in any type of citrus in any type of dish, so this is a thumbs up okay for me. So now that we've looked at our ingredients, let's take a look at putting them together. So next we're going to prepare our white onion. So we're going to chop this pretty small. The idea is if we do a small dice on all of the ingredients, when we go to eat it, everything is really even, consistent, and you get all of the features in every bite. Now, if anybody is wondering why I'm wearing gloves, whenever I use jalapenos, I wear gloves, and I'll let you know why when I get there. So here we go. So now this is nice and really nicely small diced. Next, I'm going to add 2 jalapenos. So again, if you're not into spicy, I'm going to show you how to de-rib. For my spice preference, I de-seed and de-rib one and leave the spices of half of a jalapeno in. So as you make this recipe, you'll be able to gauge a little bit better what your level of spicy is. So once your jalapenos are halved, we're going to use a spoon and we're going to take the seeds out. I really want you guys to see how I do it there. I also have my gloves on because the oil and the seeds from jalapenos will burn your skin. So maybe not at first, but if you touch something like your eyes or if it stays on your skin for too long, it can burn. So just as a rule of thumb, I add gloves and then I know that I'm not going to accidentally burn myself. So I've de-seeded 3 halves. I left 1 half with seeds. That's how I know that I'm getting the right level of spice for me. And now we're going to cut these up nice and small. So now my jalapenos are chopped to a size that I like. So it's a pretty small chop on that. Add it to the bowl. Then I'm going to do my lime juice. We're going to do about a 1/4 cup of lime juice here. So I always encourage people to do fresh lime juice versus any kind of either artificial or pre-packaged. You just get a little bit, you just get better flavor. I'm going to be completely honest. Nice. So now that I've added my jalapenos, onions, and lime juice, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. So now I'm adding a bit of salt. I'm going to mix that and I'm going to let it sit while I chop up my tomatoes. So now I'm going to chop up my tomatoes and add them to my bowl. So I always try to get kind of a small dice on my tomatoes. So I kind of cut them in a grid in hopes to make really nice bite-sized pieces. So we can get a few of these pieces of tomatoes in one bite with some onion, jalapeno, and the rest. This is why it's important to have a really nice sharp knife. I actually sharpened my knife before I did these tomatoes, so now it's gliding through really easily. When your knife isn't sharp enough, it's actually kind of dangerous because it can slide off of skin and end up cutting your fingers or anything else that's in the way. Now, for today's recipe, I used 1 whole tomato here. So the aim is to use about 1.5 pounds of tomatoes. So I use 1 kind of larger full tomato. And then I also had these mini tomatoes that are almost on the way out. So I'm quartering these guys because they're already really small, quartering or making into 6, depending on how bite-sized you want to get. So I'm a big fan of using up what you have. So I already had these small tomatoes, but I definitely don't want them to go to waste. Last but not least, we have our cilantro. I'm probably going to do about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cilantro to start. So here we go. So we have about 3 here. I'm going to add a little bit more. So I like to get all the leaves off of these guys and then use kind of any additional at the base here. So we have just enough cilantro left. Perfect. And now I'm going to make sure that I get a bit of a smaller chop on it as well. So again, the idea is that you want a little bit of each element in each bite, right? So if you're chopping it up small enough, that means that they can really mix in together. And then you can get a hit of everything. Perfect. So now that this is chopped up, we're going to add our cilantro into our bowl. And now I'm going to mix. Okay, so now that we have all of our ingredients combined in the bowl, here we have them. We're going to let this marinate in the fridge for 15 minutes. Now that's the minimum amount of marination time. I would definitely suggest making it as early as you can and leaving it. This gives a chance for all the flavors to really soak in together and you get a really strong flavor profile. So in case you need to make substitutions, this would be my recommendation. So let's say you don't like tomatoes at all. I would substitute red peppers for tomatoes. And also, if you really hate cilantro, because I know there's a few people out there that really can't stand it, then you would do one of 2 things. Either slowly reduce how much cilantro you use, because I still really feel like there's value in the cilantro, or if you absolutely hate it, just omit it, because you'll still get the benefit of the dish. So this, my dears, perfect salad to combine with almost anything. It's also a great source of nutrients, and it stays great in the fridge for a while. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my low-carb keto recipes. Until next time.